My goodness, 478 of you, the vast majority of you are leading our schools. And for that, I salute you. I applaud you. I am here this morning to really encourage you. This session, this keynote is about you, for you, because you, if you've got a pen and paper, please just run and get one. You are pivotal to what happens next in society, in this nation. You are pivotal, fundamental, vital, and central to what happens over the next decade in this society. So this keynote is about you. I know there are questions in your mind going round and round, keeping you up about social distancing, about the curriculum, about what to do actually on the job. But for one moment, for the next 20 minutes, park those operational questions and focus on you, because you are absolutely pivotal to what happens to this nation over the next decade and beyond. What you do, what decisions you take, how courageous you are. I had to get the word in, it's my company, I can't help it. The word courageous will come to the fore. How you behave, the culture that you create going forward in your organizations, in your schools, across the land, is pivotal to the nation going forward. So I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to say, well done before it's happened, because I know, I trust that you will do well. So think about this question. First of all, write this down. What is it that makes you remarkable? Diana, I asked myself the question, what is it that makes me remarkable? Have a look at that. I can hear you laughing from here. There I am, 6 years old, my fabulous self, right? Mum, dad, council flat, South London, on a estate in Camberwell, South London. I am 6 years old. There's my mum looking fabulous. She still looks like that. She still looks amazing. Can you notice my mouth is slightly bulging? I've got a sweetie in my mouth because I refuse to get rid of it. My parents said, come on in, photographer's here. This was our first family portrait. I'm the firstborn, the eldest, so it's just me at that time. So my brother came along and spoilt things 2 years later. My dad looking amazing. He went to my parents' evenings looking like that. Yes, this was the 70s, and we were in the time of our lives. Expectation for me was sky high. I was the original pupil premium child. We didn't have that language back in those days. We didn't have the vocabulary of pupil premium. You were just free school meals. You went to a little window in the school, because the secretary, she's opened her office window, which looked out onto the playground. You went and picked up your ticket, and you went and got your free school meal. Everybody knew there was no, hiding the feeling, trying to make you be inclusive. You were a free school meal child. You got your ticket and you went and got it. You went, I don't know if you remember this. Back then, the whole of London's education was controlled by a company or an organisation called ILEA, Inner London Education Authority. A huge, huge organisation. And ILEA sent my parents every term a voucher booklet that gave me the credits to go and get my school uniform from a particular shop in Dulwich in South London. I was the original pupil premium kid. Lived in a postcode that was poor. Had a father in and out of work, tried his best, but oh my God, it was difficult. Money was tight. Our first family holiday came 20 years after this photo was taken. Lived in a council flat, and I shared a bedroom with my brother until I was 19 years old and went off to university. We stayed in this flat for 20 years before my parents were able to get enough money together to make a mortgage happen. So now listen to me. Even in my circumstance, the expectation of my life was sky high. Do me a favor, all 499 of you on this session now, for one moment, just close your eyes and dream. Answer this question with your eyes closed. Just think for a moment. What is the expectation of your life? Not what do you do for a job? Not what is your next promotion? What is the expectation for your life? What have others hoped for you? What do you hope for yourself? Now here, answer this. What are you doing to fulfill the plan that will meet the expectation of your life? I'm asking you, what makes you remarkable? Reflect on that just for a moment. This is all about you. You are pivotal to society. So what makes you remarkable? Is school leadership difficult? Yes. It ever was, it is now, and I suspect it ever shall be. You will need resilience. When the winds blow, and oh my goodness, we've been through a season of storm, we bend, but we don't break. We're resilient. We bend, but we don't break. We are school leaders. We are resilient. You will need courage, because there are things that are out there that scare me, that scare you as school leaders, and we have to face them, not silly, not foolishly, with courage. That means we are intellectual in our approach, but we approach, we go forward, we advocate, we keep going. We move with courage. You will need tenacity. I am asking you to just build up those reserves of tenacity. Don't let go. Sometimes you think, you know what, there are easier ways of making money. I'll go work in Asda, I'll do something else. Yeah, I'll write a book, I'll be a consultant like Diana. There are other ways of doing this. There are other ways of living. Don't let go. Because of this, I'm going back into executive headship to support a school for 2 terms from September. Don't let go. Be tenacious. It's difficult, yes, I know. Yes, I know. But be tenacious. You are going to lead love. I'll say it again because I love that word. You're going to need love. Listen to me. When you are loved, you thrive. When your teams are loved, they thrive. When your young people are loved, they thrive. When you feel loved, you thrive. So seek out those who love you and work with them. Professional love, make it a pillar of your leadership. It changes everything. I am a testimony to that. When you love on the job and you give love and receive love, things change. You're going to need compassion because there's going to be some people who are going to tick you off. The government at the moment, I am exercising compassion and grace for those people because they are really upsetting me. You're going to need buckets of compassion because some people are not coping and they will say silly things. They will behave in a ridiculous way. And you're going to be strong, but compassionate. Don't confuse compassion with weakness. They're not the same thing. Compassion is your strength, but showing it under control and giving people space to breathe. Is it all worth it after what I've described, what you're going to need? Absolutely. Say it with me. Is this job worth it? Absolutely. We are pivotal to society. We are the hub. We are the center. We are the advocate of this nation. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Listen to me. The young people of your school, of your city, of your borough, of your whole area, they need you, every one of you, to be on your A game, to bring your A game. They need the 100% version of you, otherwise they don't make it. They don't make it. You are remarkable because you know how to run and lead schools. Not everyone can do what you do. You are remarkable. Remind yourself of that. There I am, 6 years old, starting life, out climbing trees and doing all sorts of manner of stuff. The difference between this picture and this one, I'm going to explain to you now, because here I can say I made it. This picture represents that high expectation of that 6-year-old being fulfilled. I'm not boasting, I'm just saying the truth. And I'm secure in my truth. You be secure in your truth. I am no longer the pupil premium kid, because we know what happens. Pupil premium children, if we're not careful and intervene successfully, become pupil premium adults. And if we don't manage to intervene then, they become pupil premium grandparents and die. Is that harsh? It's harsh, but it's the truth. And we want more than that for our young people. So how did this picture happen? How did Diana go from, here, 6 years old, in her favourite dress on a council estate in South London, to here? Let me tell you this. In my life, I went to school in Peckham, South London, for primary, right on the Peckham Road. Then I went to school for secondary in Forest Hill, South London. In my secondary school, 1,500 girls, humongous girls' school. It was an experience. In my life, during my education years, there were a few teachers who showed up every day and brought me their A game. They stepped into my life and turned the expectation of my life into reality. They were pivotal in the life of Diana Osagie. Then, oh my God, then there was a head teacher in my life in my secondary school. This woman was remarkable. Her name was Mrs. Zakowicz. She was from Poland. She was 4'9". She ran a 1,500 strong girls' school in South London. She was 4'9" tall and she was 4'9" wide, as far as I could work out. I swear she was on wheels. She used to wear these long dresses and these long skirts, and it was like she could wheel down the corridor and she'd find you whenever you were being naughty. She'd just appear like this. I swear she was on wheels. She was as tall as she was wide, and she was a powerhouse. She kept that school in her hands, and she helped it to rise up from the negative narrative of our circumstance into what was possible. An amazing woman, my head teacher. I've never forgotten her. I can see her face now, and the influence she made in my life, I've never forgotten her. Then I had parents who did the same. Parents who insisted that even though the circumstance was saying no, the narrative was saying no, the expectation they had for their child was a huge yes. Marry that parental expectation with my teacher's expectation, with a head teacher who's on her A game, bang, I made it. You know how this is done. You've seen this time and time again in your schools. It is worth it. You're changing the course of history because you are at the forefront of educating children like what I was. You are changing history every day. I salute you for that. I made it because people like you stepped into my life, and you were remarkable in your endeavors for me. You are remarkable in your endeavors for your young people. Let me say this again. You are pioneering this new landscape. Nobody has done what you are going to do. I salute you again. You are pioneers in this new landscape. You are truly something special. If you've not heard that this summer, then hear it now from Diana Osagie. You are something special. I'm asking you to carry on being the remarkable 100% version of your leadership self. The young people won't make it unless you do it. Is it difficult? Sometimes. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will you need help? Most definitely. Let me say that again, because some of you are sitting there planning to do this on your own. You will need help. You will need support. Do not equate the need for help and support with weakness and vulnerability. They are not the same thing. Coaching, get some. Advice, have loads of it. Networking, make sure you're there. Your union, your networks, your trusts, your CEOs, your private networks, be there. Do not ever, especially now, but don't ever attempt leadership on your own. Don't think in an echo chamber where you hear your own voice going round and round. Don't plan in a silo, just you and your team, you and your team. Widen the base. Become diverse. Hear different voices. Diversity is your strategic advantage, not your complication. Do not do this on your own. Do it with those who have done it before you, who have led with you, who will lead you and help you do this. Is there an option for mediocrity? I say, hell no. Hell no. There isn't. Not because of us, but our young people right now. Oh my God, they need the A game. If ever there was a time that we need to be our brilliant self, it's now. So let's get you dressed for the journey. Come on now. You have to dress for the leadership weather. These are the shoes I could find, right? So don't take offense if your shoes are not there. Listen to me. Right now, it is a season of leadership winter. Even though technically it's summer in our area, in England, technically, it is actually for us as school leaders, the leadership winter, because things are tough. And in winter, things are tough. It's a bit bare, it's a bit barren, it's a bit difficult. The ground is hard. So when it's winter, you put on your winter boots. You don't prance about in your bikini in the middle of winter. You get dressed for the leadership weather. Metaphorically, what I'm saying to you is, when it's tough, do what you need to do to get through. Okay? We don't plan too far ahead in the winter because the weather might turn even worse. So we plan for the next 100 days, for example. We're not doing a 5-year plan right now. We're planning for the next 100 days, then the 100 days after that. Then after that, we get through the leadership winter. Yeah? When it's winter, you check on your elderly relatives, don't you? To make sure they're okay. So you check on each other. When it's winter, you put on your big coat, your big boots. You steel yourself up and you go out in the snow. It's winter time. It's leadership winter time. So wear your winter clothing. Do what you need to do to get through. Get support. Get coaching. Don't stop collaborating. Don't stop talking. And listen to me. Do not lower the expectation of yourself, of your staff, of your young people. You might get to those expectations a different way because it's winter, but nevertheless, we don't lower ourselves because it's winter. But hear me now. Even though it's winter, tough season, this season must pass. Spring has to come round. It is the order of things. It's winter now, but it will not be winter forever. Spring must come. And after spring, we know it's summer. Winter will come again, and we'll deal with that when we get there. But be assured, leaders, spring is on its way. Remind yourself, remind your teams, remind your community, remind your children how remarkable they are. Get through winter. It will happen. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Steel yourself and make it through. Write this down. I give myself the internal permission. Leaders, give yourself internal permission to hope. Give yourself internal permission to be brave. Internal permission to be curious and find out what's possible. The permission, give yourself permission to love your teams, to love your communities, and to show your hearts. Give yourself the permission to be remarkable. You are at the cutting edge of the changes in this society. I salute you. I support you. And alongside with your union and all those who are supporting and rooting for you, We will get this done. I'm through. Let me stop sharing. Andy, I invite you back on.
And I'm coming back on. When you were through, I thought you were going to say "I'm through with," and I was waiting to hear what it is you'd had enough of. Because you've been so positive and uplifting, I thought, okay, here comes some negative, here comes some bile. But no, you're through, you're finished.
No,
okay.
No, bile.
I don't think you do, bile, do you? Thank you for that, Diana. That's inspirational, uplifting. One that I've been watching the comments has been coming through, and somebody put, "Just listening to Diana makes you smile." And I have to say, I was smiling at various points of that, and nodding and going, "Oh yeah." And sadly, I'm old enough to remember earlier as well. But
do you remember that?
I was one of their pupils, but yes, I am that old. We're having lots of questions that have been coming in. Obviously, sure. Because your presentation has been so inspirational, people have been sort of echoing that and feeling that. But a lot of the questions, as you'd expect, because term's only a week away, have been coming in. Have been really quite practical ones.
Sure.
And clearly, I'm not a health expert. You're not a health expert. So I think we can have a discussion. I think if people come in on that, and you know, the answers are within the room somewhere, aren't they? I'd say a couple of things. Certainly, the government puts out advice. Take that how you will, but the government puts out advice, and that's its job to do that. The DfE puts out advice on practical issues, which changes pretty much daily. Obviously, NEHT and the other education unions are in constant dialogue with the Department of Government about things, and medical officers, and the NHT's got loads of advice, and it's all on a website. So if people have specific practical questions, it's there. James Bowen, our head of policy, has done a podcast, which is also on the website, which I've listened to, which is really good, which goes through exactly a lot of the practical issues that people have been raising and are clearly concerned about. So can I happily point people towards that? But yes, we do know there's a huge demand for loads of practical guidance at the moment. I suppose if I can ask you, Diana, something in general terms, I mean, lots of questions about should we be wearing face masks, how do we socially distance, how does school feel like normal with all that going on? And obviously there's practical guidance on that, but how do you feel that would affect school leaders and life in schools?
I think as I said, I'm going back into executive headship to support a school in September, but if I were running my school as the head teacher, you've got the practical guidance, but I would just have in my mind, this is not going to be normal. So I would try not to recreate a normal September. It's going to be different. You know, it's like when I'm advising schoolies at the moment, it's like they're trying to recreate a normal September, but you're not going to be able to do that. So it's not normal for people to wear face masks, but we're not in normal times. So if it feels right for your community to wear face masks in the classroom, then do it. You know, so some schools have been talking to me. I've been talking to heads about they've had sinks. I said they installed sinks in the playground, like portable ones, you know, so they can wash hands in the playground after play, before play, and that kind of thing. Fine. Try not to concern yourself with making it feel like normal. It's not. But do what you can to, I suppose, get through winter. This is the winter season of our leadership. It's not going to feel like a normal autumn sort of, you know, September feeling. You're trying to recreate a utopia that was past. Don't apologize for things being very different, but do explain. So do tell people, your staff, your children, not just what to do, but why they're doing it. People don't buy into the what. We've heard this from Simon Sinek. They buy into the why. Why am I washing my hands every time I move or whatever? And then you show a video about how, you know, you wash your hands and why it's important. Why should I wear a face mask? Why? And that's when people know why, then you're more likely to get collaboration and cohesiveness. Yeah. When you just say, do this, do that, here's the procedure, here's where you line up, all you're giving is orders, and actually it starts to become white noise. It starts to become like a barking. And what you don't want to be doing is barking in people's ears. You want to be telling them, do X because Y is the reason, and we don't want Z to be the consequence. So that's what I would say. Try not to get hung up on creating a normal experience. Just acknowledge it's going to be very different. It's winter. Spring will come.
Yes. I like that message. I keep wanting to say now is the winter of our discontent, but not going to quite start quoting the bar. But yes, spring will come. You're quite right. And I think you make a really important point there that you as a school leader and everyone on this call as school leaders know their communities best, know what's right, know how to show that leadership, know to lead by example and set the tone, because there is lots of guidance. You're right. There's lots of guidance out there. And it's inconsistent and it changes daily and people can't remember. And is it this week we're allowed to do this? And in my area, can we do that?
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard for everyone. And I think you're right. The more that you show leadership and that you're in control and command, and you give off that sense of we know what we're doing in my school.
Yeah.
The more helpful that is for parents and communities and kids. Yeah. I'm looking through the chat as we go along. You'll love it. You can have a look at it later. But the words that keep jumping out are amazing, uplifting, fantastic, inspirational, positive, encouraging. And I think that's what we need at the moment.
Yeah.
I think, yes, we do need the practical guidance. Of course, we need the practical guidance. There's lots of medical stuff out there and policy stuff out there. But I think it's been a really tough 6 months. It's been a summer which hasn't really been a summer. And now all of a sudden it's very nearly September, everyone's back. So thank you really for coming in and bring a bit of summer into us, reminding us that while winter is coming, which is another program, but we won't go into that. After that there will be spring, and these things must pass.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking through. There's so many questions. It's difficult with 500 people on the call. I think there's quite a lot of concern that people are getting mixed messages. That in some areas they're getting guidance, in some areas they're not, in some areas the local authority is telling them one thing, in other areas they're not. And it's really a difficult time for school leaders to navigate their way through that maze.
Yeah.
Is there something, some advice, some help you can give to schools saying, I really don't know which way to turn because I'm getting so much advice. I'm sort of weighed down under the expectation of it all.
I don't want to castigate our government because that's the government that we've got, right? We voted for them, so they're here now. But what I would say is choose 1 to 2 sources of your information. Otherwise, you're on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as every other website, and it's overwhelming. Okay, just like any GCSE course, I'm a secondary practitioner, has 1 textbook, the recommended one. If you want to read widely, go ahead, but this is what you're going to get examined on. Get it?
Yeah.
So I would choose 1 source of information for my main information. Whether that be your NHT or ASCL or wherever it is, you choose your source of information. And then if you need to supplement, if you need to. So if it's your local authority, they're great, listen there. Obviously you've got your networks and your WhatsApp groups, that's really important. But if you try and do what everyone says, you're going to be like a chameleon, just changing colour every second. Can I say this? None of us are experts in terms of viral transmission and disease and all that kind of thing, but we all do have common sense. Yeah? And school leaders, you do have a great deal of experience and common sense, okay? So if something just doesn't make sense, then why would you do it? Because that person's saying it's got a title after their name or before their name. He might be called Boris Johnson, but if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Simple. Yeah? So don't stop. I said to people, I was doing another webinar, don't stop thinking for yourself. Okay?
Completely.
Don't stop thinking. We don't suddenly hand over our intellect and say to people, think for me. Don't stop thinking for yourself. Your experience, your young people, you can read, you're alive. Be sensible, take on expertise that fits into the narrative that you've got, do your best and then stop. Okay? Do your best. Do your best. And then that is more than enough. Okay? Do not make this a season of beating yourself up. Yeah? If COVID breaks out in your school and 3 kids get it, then 3 kids get it. Okay? You are not all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful, ever-present, i.e. you're not God. You're a school leader. So, get a grip. Get a grip. Don't take on this, huge responsibility of being God in your school. That's ridiculous. You're the head teacher.
Yes.
You care and you love and you'll do your best. That's enough.
You heard it here first, people. Head teachers are officially not God.
No, we're not
They're
God.
pretty damn close.
I did try for 2 years and apparently I failed. I didn't get the job.
Waiting for bolt lightning to strike you down, darling. Yeah. That's fantastic. Again, I'm looking at the chat and people are saying excellent answer and thanks for the inspiration.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. They deserve it because we forget to thank the people that make everything possible.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, if we stop doing our job and say, you know what, enough, society comes to a halt.
Yeah.
Us and the bin men.
Yes.
If either of us stop doing our job, it's over.
Okay, so school leaders aren't good, but they're up there with bin men.
Up there with the bin men.
There's your take-home message.
Those of you who remember what it was like when the bin men went on strike, oh my days, it was disaster.
You can probably tell by the colour of my hair. I do just about remember
that? In the 70s when the bin men went on strike one summer. Oh my days.
Yeah.
So.
I'm the serious point of that underlines the importance that schools play in society, and everyone's looking to schools. They're looking at schools in Scotland now, they're looking at schools in England, Wales from next week, Northern Ireland. To lift communities, to be a bit of normality, to bring us back to it, and to allow the rest of society to function. So it's a huge role, and thanks for uplifting everyone. I'm looking at my watch; we're sort of getting close to running out of time.
No problem.
But thanks for uplifting us and reminding us of that. Because it's easy to forget, and leadership's a lonely profession.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to be reminded of that by one of your peers, and that's what you've done for us. In terms of there are so many questions really. I'd love to get to them all. I think what we'll do is we're recording this so we can see the questions.
Yeah.
We'll look to answer them one by one. And if there's any we can put to you, we might do that later on.
No, absolutely.
I would say, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again, there is guidance out there. NHT does a lot of guidance. Other unions do lots of guidance. There's some joint guidance. For the detailed questions, it's all there. It's like you don't put your foot in the same river twice. It's changing daily, isn't it? So we're doing our best to keep that updated. NHT's union, of course, is having constant dialogue with government ministers, and last 2 weeks that's mainly been about exams, which has been lots of fun and a slight change, but now we're back to COVID. If I can point you to James Hearn's podcast, which is on our website, I think that's really good, and I think that's really helpful, and so does the other half of what you've done. You've come out and been the lady coming out of the weather house, bringing us the sunshine, and James sort of addresses some of the rain. So I think between us we'll get there.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Diana. Thank you for inspiration. I'm just going to say a few words to wrap up, and then run through a few other things, if I may.
Okay.
As I said at the top, we record these sessions so we can put those out to people. So you can watch again, share it with your friends and family. You can edit me out. That's fine. Just use the Diana bit. We have a poll, which, as I can see on my screen, hope you can see on yours, has just come up. Asking you how you rate the session and what you thought of it and what more we can do. Please take the time to fill that in, because that really helps us. Feedback is a breakfast of champions, and the more you tell us about what you'd like us to do, the more we can respond to that. So that's really helpful. As I say, we'll try and get to all the questions that have come up through the chat, through the Q&A. If you have specific questions you'd like to email us about here at NEHT, our email is events@neht.org.uk. So that will get to us, we can address things. You just send the holding slides at the start. We've got an offer at the moment for people interested in becoming NHT members, and currently there's an offer of a £40 voucher and a year's access to PSHE training. So there's a lot of benefits, and obviously unity is strength, and the more people who come with us, the louder our voice and the more we can speak truth to power. So that's really important. And there's advice and guidance on our website about NHT Wellness and Protect, which is a service that we offer to help support school leaders at these difficult times. We'll carry on putting on these webinars. If you'd like more tailored training that the NHT could put together for you, please get in touch either at the events email or at tailored.training@nht.org.uk, and we can help you put together a package from that way. So I think I will leave people now to fill in the polls. I will thank Diana again. She's sitting there very patiently listening to me as if I was saying something wise, which is always reassuring, and smiling as well, which is a good thing. And then just to run through what we've got coming up. So on Thursday, the 10th of September, through the Discovery Pathway programme, we've got a presentation on putting you back in control, which my colleague Guy Dudley will be leading on. Next Tuesday, we're looking you off. Tuesday, the 15th of September, we're doing a presentation on resilience for school leaders, which I hope will complement what we've learned today with Diana. On Thursday, the 17th, Andrew Hammond, himself a former primary school head teacher, will be running through the Pathway programme. And on Tuesday, the 29th of September, we'll be looking at the wonderful world of Ofsted inspection with Philip Orlahead. So a mixture of inspirational and practical guidance. I see Diana's dropped out, so thank you again, Diana. And I'll just cool. Thank you. Well done. The shouts of more are obviously heard in the dressing room. You've come back to that. So yeah, I will wrap up now. Thank you so much, Diana, for your time. Thank you to the 500 and odd participants we've had on our webinar, which is a record. So I'm very grateful to you for that. Keep letting us know what we can do for you, and we'll keep providing CPD, which I hope is uplifting, inspirational, and informative. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Diana.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.